So, good afternoon. Happy Tuesday, August 10th, 2021. And I just wanted to wake up happy today. I was in a horrible funk yesterday. Just a lot of stuff came at me, biting at me, forcing me to pay attention when this is not anything that I really wanted to pay attention to pay attention to. So I had to pray last night and I go to sleep. Lord, please, please, please let me wake up one day saying I'm trying to be happy. So I'm waking up trying to be happy. I'm still holding on. I'm not letting go. Richard Smallwood is still speaking to my spirit. James Cleveland is still speaking to my spirit. Uh, C.K. Nix, you're still speaking to my spirit. And even though I love Amazing Grace, and I realize that Amazing Grace was written by a horrible segregationist or plantation owner that was very cruel with all of the slaves that he had, but somehow moving to the end of his life and him wanting to try to get into heaven and ask for forgiveness for his shitty sins that he created on African Americans, which he called slaves. He was able to pen this term, this poem, this song that black people sing over and over and over again, entitled Amazing Grace. And those of us that sing this song with such passion do not understand the nastiness that the creator, the writer of the song, gave to the world during the early days. So I'm having to breathe in on that because right now to this day I still love singing Amazing Grace. And I have to realize that it came out of the heart of a man that was horrible in the way that he treated the slaves that he kept. But, however, moving on, still trying to be happy and just looking at some things and hearing some things. And, guys, if we're not careful, we are one step closer to what we call a dictatorship. Right now, we have a democracy. But if we're not careful and all these little inroads that we're making into how speech is spoken, and then what we're saying when we use speech, we're on our way toward a dictatorship. And I don't think we like dictatorships because I remember growing up with my dad in the 40s, and all we had was dictators. It was my way or the highway. And no other way, no other idea, no other concept could even come into play. Because A, they were men, B, they held power, and C, they weren't taking any prisoners. They would take your ass out. And they don't mind hitting you. And they don't mind beating you. And they don't mind lowering your self esteem. They don't mind putting bruises on you, all in the name of the Lord. Yes, I got up this morning and I put my teeth in so that we could be understood. So I'm just put out there and that we're one step closer. Well, why do you say that? I said, because I have, I don't know, because I have these list of people and I'm going to keep going on these names because I know they've been somewhere at least since the 1960s. And if I count Strom Thurmond, and Jim Crow. And what's that man out of Not on My Watch, Not in My Lifetime? George somebody. Oh, he was horrible in Arkansas. But I'm gonna put my people out here again. And as you hear these folk say A, B, C, D, and E about how they're gonna do point A, point B for you, understand that's not the way that works. It's not gonna work. Everything that they have in place for us is not going to help me be happy with my life. So I'm going to ask you to listen as I have been listening. Some of them are in office, used to be in office, were in office when horrible things were written and horrible laws were enacted and horrible legislation was passed, and some of you all are still there. So I'm going to keep on adding to my list because it's huge. So I'm going to ask you to remember John Boehner, President Obama. He gets nothing. I'm going to ask you to remember Mitch McConnell. When he speaks of Biden, he gets nothing. I'm going to ask you to think of DeSantis and Manchurian and Jesse Duplantis and Bill Gates and Jeff and Bezos and Greg Abbott and Chuck Schumer and Biden and Laura Ingraham and Candace Owens and, oh God, Kamala Harris, Sheila Jackson Lee, Paul Ryan, white nationalist, segregationalist, Creflo Dollar, T.D. Jakes, Joel Osteen, Sean Hannity, Ted Cruz, oh, Lindsey Graham, Mitch McConnell, all the judges, Supreme Court judges, and these other 160 judges appointed by Mitch McConnell and Donald Trump over the last 4 years. My God. Newt Gingrich, Tucker Carlson, Meghan McCain, young girl, just got the opportunity to be somewhere to help. Oh my God. So mean. Jesus. Nancy Pelosi, Paul Ryan. God. Synfronia Thompson. Come on, guys. You've been there too long for these laws that are working against my folk again, black women, brown women, women of color, poor women, women across the board who are vulnerable and are struggling, and poor white women. How can these crime bills, these immigration bills, these gun laws, these health care bills, these environmental bills, these welfare bills, these women's rights bill, these voter rights bills, these voter suppression bills. Plessy versus Ferguson is still on the books, folks. That I'm just three-fourths of a human being. Oh my God. Oh, education. We still a Penn State, a state pen, and this new unemployment. We have got to learn. Oh, I had to learn last night just how to reset my emotions so that I'm always not rambling, especially rambling to the negative, because I am going to continue to say that there's just no nice racism. And when I go through my list of people from John Boehner all the way down to Synfronia Thompson and putting all my preachers in the middle, you all have got to think a new thought. You've got to do something different. You've got to figure out how to how to improve the conditions, the material conditions of all people, of all cultures. So I had to learn how to sit down and reset. Just reset, reset, reset. Because I keep getting back everywhere I'm listening, and I love John Oliver too. But mm, the the gifts or the votes that we've given those people that be considered to be in power, their laws that they are creating, their legislation that they are creating and policing, it's not benefiting all. And so I'm just looking to make sure that we're all at this large table when it comes to thinking about our priorities and our concerns as they affect all of these 331 million individuals in the United States of America. We've got to develop a political elite. The rules have to be for me. The rules out there now are for thee, but they're not for me. The laws out there now are for thee, but they're not out there for me. So my lawmakers and my government bureaucrats, you guys are going to have to do better. And I started talking about these um, uh, black social democrats, our government bureaucrats, because my list of folk, you've been there too long. And you're not doing anything that's going to improve the condition of my life, my culture's life, and all other folk that want to participate in just living in America in a democracy. The adage that we must secure the existence of our people, Tucker Carlson. Well, I just think that we must, in light of uh many would like these the fight. Many of us would just like these the nation's story to be of my culture from the Western perspective, from the Western Hills historical perspective. Sorry, it won't work. For white nationalists, we must secure the existence of our people and the future for white children. That's all you're concerned about. And that's why white nationalists and segregationists have no place in this future America. Because, like I said on yesterday, and I wasn't trying to be ugly, but there are more of me than there are of you. I don't know what more to say except uh, everybody needs to breathe in. And those folk that consider themselves in positions of power that have made these run amok situations, issues, events that don't speak to the heart and for everyone. We just have to rethink, reset, make our voices more clear, and let it be understood that, hey, in America, it's for everybody. We created this situation in 1776. And you weren't nice and have not been nice since 1619. That's when I got here. And this is 2021. And you still want me to be three-fourths human. And you still want me to be your mule. It's not going to work anymore because I can see as I listen to young people in their 30s now, they are going to have to change or they are in the process of thinking a new thought, of creating a new destiny, of understanding that we have to bring more folk into our table. To sit up, we have got to open our table up because the table was not created by white folk. You're not the only person sitting there. And you know, I'm only gonna ask one more time as I speak from here going out. Women, white women, poor white women, black women, brown women, women of color, women across the board who are vulnerable and are suffering. We are going to have to be the ones to come together and join together to get this tomfoolery out of our existence, because you're choking me and you're choking our children. And our children deserve to come up in a much better democracy. So I'm just asking you to rethink some things, because the goal is not to be the best. The goal is to learn. The goal is not to be the best. The goal is to learn. The goal is to share. The goal is to tell our children the truth. The goal is to protect our children from early childhood mental illnesses. And those of you that consider yourselves to be in positions of power, you are going to have to protect us way better. You're going to have to respect us, and you're going to have to pay us. Those of you who consider yourselves to be in positions of power are going to have to protect us, respect us, and pay us. And women, there's just a lot we can do to shut this nastiness down. Just say no a couple of days. Just say no, not you. Men, you cannot govern me unless I give you my consent. So I'm taking my consent back, because you folk in power no longer have the opportunity to govern me as you've done in yesterdays. I'm just asking us to just think a new thought, to recalibrate, to reset, to remember the goal is not to be the best. The goal is just to learn. And we are going to have to learn how to share among these folk, other individuals living in this thing called a democracy. I'm calling on women, white women, black women, brown women, women of color, women across the board who are vulnerable, who are struggling, who are suffering. Our needs must be met, since we're the ones who rear your children. And we are going to have to tell them now our truth. We're going to have to stand in our narrative. We have to stand in our story. We are going to have to stand in our truth and let it be. Oh my God, I think I was much happier today than I was on yesterday. I know I had my teeth in, and I know I didn't do that much cursing. So let's just try to move with resetting our emotions and working for a better tomorrow. We just not going we're gonna hold on and we're not gonna let go because God is teaching us a lesson that we're gonna have to listen to, adjust to, recalibrate to. So that was the good of me. Then that was the happy part. That was happy up until I started. So when I started with John Boehner and I ended with Symphonia Thompson, that was when I was getting into the rest of the crap that I saw on my when I checked in online today. So now we have an Army vet in Iowa who has been sentenced for shooting a black girl who was attending a Trump rally. Like I said, you know what? Those nationalists are going to have to think a new thought. It doesn't matter how they serve it to you, they're going to have to think a new thought because we have opened this. The narrative can no longer be maintained. This thing about the national culture. Ugh, ugh. And what you hear, Tucker Carlson might not say it, David Duke might not say it, white nationalist might not say it, segregationist might not say it, but their thought is out there. And it says we must secure the existence of our people for the future of white children. The only position that people of power are trying to control and keep right now is for that white ideology to stay steeped in our souls and in our journeys. These blocks at every point, port need to be resolved. So we're going to have to think a new thought. That's all I can say. 22 minutes in, we're going to have to think a new thought. We're going to have to continuously press that intercept, not intercept, that intercept button. I looked at Rudy Giuliani is still trying to make some hay. Say, get there, sit down, be quiet. Andrew Cuomo, you're resigning. Say, man, you know you were doing illegal, uncomfortable. You were being uncomfortable to the women that were in your environment. You were inappropriate to the women in your environment. And so now you have to resign. Goodbye. The Senate passes this $1 trillion infrastructure, but nothing for poor people. You're going to tie this all up in contractors and grants that the majority of the money never gets down to the people that really needs it. I see that one of the Bill Cosby accusers died. She was 72 and enjoyed a good life because she got to 72. And then I find more people getting off this grid. This daily struggle of getting up and having to deal with shit is getting old. Ted Cruz needs to shut up. Just shut up. Shut the fuck up. Because you've had the opportunity to sit in the Senate and have not passed any bills that improve the material conditions of poor people. Not across the United States, but just in the state of Texas. You have been an asshole. You and Greg Abbott. And I can't think of that man that's the lieutenant governor, but you're a shithole also. You guys need to shut up and get right. Or I will see you guys when it's your time again. Because this time voting, you ain't got no mules. Mm-mm. I'm not coming to pull a card for you for anything until you put some things, you improve the material conditions in our lives. Until these material conditions improve, you all stay on my shit list. And I'm coming after you every day. Congratulations to Miss Rihanna, for being a billionaire. You're a young woman. Protect your money, baby. All my Kardashians, from Kim to Chloe to Courtney to Kylie to the other one, I can never get your name, Kendall, I think it is. Each of you all are coming in and moving into billionaire status. Great, 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 great. But now those of you in this billionaire status that have children, I'm asking you to start putting some clothes on. I'm asking you to start covering your bodies, please. Because I'm tired of looking at you almost naked. So I'm going to stay happy. I'm going to have to hold on. And even though I've got some tears that may fall, I have to be strong and hold on because God has a plan for me. And however you see this God, for me, He shows up black, that soothes my soul, that gives me the ability to breathe in, inhale, exhale, breathe, put one foot in front of another, get a big rope, keep tying knots and holding on because my valley is only temporary. My pain is only temporary. And this too, this conversation too, shall pass. I wish the rest of you guys just a happy day. Happy, happy, happy day. Peace, prayer, silence, and let the spirit of us coming together, clicking together, and moving out to bring peace and calm out there in our worlds. For those that are listening to me, thank you so much. Until again, yours in liberty. Oh, something happened. No. Okay, clicked off.